Our motions for history this week. We're going to start with an ASL-R for Richard the Lion-Hearted, son of Eleanor of Aquitaine. And this is a long time in the music where you're going to be rocking baby Richard. So this might be a good time to throw in a little smooch, or just look lovingly at your baby Richard, because he was Eleanor's favorite son. And while he was away fighting in the Crusades, he left his mother in charge to rule the kingdom, and she did a really good job. But he was her favorite son, and he even plotted with her to overthrow the king at one point, who was her husband. So those two had a really close bond. So I'm gonna love baby Richard. And then he fought the Turks for Jerusalem, J, during the time of the Crusades, and you're gonna swing your sword around like you're fighting, from 1095 to 1291. Oh, I got the dates right. Okay, and so then there's a long time in the music where it's like da 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 da. So we're gonna just dance a little bit before it starts up again. Okay, so let's do it.
Richard the Lion-Hearted, son of Eleanor of Aquitaine, fought the Turks for Jerusalem during the time of the Crusades, from 1095 to 1291. Richard the Lion-Hearted, son of Eleanor of Aquitaine, fought the Turks for Jerusalem during the time of the Crusades, from 1095 to 1291.
Crusades.
Richard the Lion-Hearted, son of Eleanor of Aquitaine, fought the Turks for Jerusalem during the time of the Crusades, from 1095 to 1291. Richard the Lion-Hearted, son of Eleanor of Aquitaine, fought the Turks for Jerusalem during the time of the Crusades, from 1095 to 1291.
So a little bit about the Crusades. I'm going to read to you out of this book because it gives a really nice, concise definition. The Crusades were a series of religious wars that took place from 1095 to 1291. The purpose of the Crusades was for the European Christians to defeat the Muslim Turks and control of the Holy Land, which was Jerusalem. It had been taken by the Turks in 1095. When the Turks planned to invade Constantinople, the Byzantines asked for help. So Pope Urban II organized the Crusades to recapture the Holy Land, which was Jerusalem. But even after 200 years and several major crusades, the Christians still did not succeed. So Richard the Lionheart plays into this because he, like we said in our song, he went to Jerusalem to fight the Turks for control of Jerusalem, and he was not successful. He did not get control of Jerusalem. Instead, that third crusade ended when Richard and Saladin, the Turkish leader, agreed to make peace for 5 years. So Richard the Lionheart was the son of Eleanor of Aquitaine, and Eleanor of Aquitaine was the daughter of a French duke who raised her to control a southwestern portion of France after her father died. So after her father died, there were lots of young men who wanted, or men in general, wanted to marry her so that they could be leaders of this area. So she married her first husband, and he just wanted to rule. He did not want to let her rule at all. So she dissolved that marriage, and then she married Henry II of England. And they had a bunch of children, but her favorite child was Richard the Lionhearted. And so her and him even plotted to overthrow Henry II, who was her husband. They were going to overthrow him so that Eleanor could be the leader of England. But it didn't work, it failed, and Henry II forgave them. So then when he died, he passed his throne on to Richard the Lionhearted. And so he was called Lionhearted because he was brave. He had this golden blonde hair, and he looked like a king. He was really popular, and the people liked him, so he was called the Lionhearted. So the people really liked to hear about how Richard was out there fighting in the Crusades. He really wasn't at home in England. He was out fighting in the Crusades. And so the people would hear tales, his heroic tales of the daring things he was doing out there. But he really wasn't at home very much. And he really didn't succeed in his objective for controlling Jerusalem. He died at only 41 years old. And then after he died, guess who became King of England? Little old Prince John. And if you've ever watched Robin Hood, you know all about Prince John and how he treated his people. So that really happens. In the movies of Robin Hood, it makes it look like Prince John is just in charge while King Richard is off fighting. But in reality, King Richard had died, and then Prince John became King of England. And he started just stripping the people of their money, and even nobles, even people who were supposed to be wealthy. He took so much of their money that even they felt poor because it was a feudal society. So Prince John had the power to tax the people and make them poor. And so good old Robin Hood, there were tales of this mysterious man who would rob the people who would take the money, like King John's people who would take the money from the people. Robin Hood would go and steal the money back and give it to the people. So it was a mysterious tale that people would tell of old Robin Hood. So anyway, we will talk more about that next week, because Prince John's being a bad ruler after his big brother, who was lion-hearted and good, led to the Magna Carta. So we'll talk about that next week, though. But I just wanted to put that in your head, because if you've seen Robin Hood, you notice the clothing that they wear and just that time period, that's the time period we're talking about here. For Latin this week, we have first conjugation endings imperfect tense. And we have a bomb to remind us that when a bomb goes off, everything is imperfect. And our very first ending this week is bomb. Let's listen to the song together.
Bomba spot, bomba spot is bunt. Bomba spot, bomba spot is bunt. First conjugation, imperfect tense.
For English this week, we have pronoun order. So we're going to have singular and plural. So singular means one, and plural means more than one. So for our singular pronouns, we're just going to use one hand. So we'll say first person singular, second person singular, third person singular. And then for our plural, since it's more than one, we're going to use two hands. We'll say first person singular, second person singular, third person singular. So next week, for week 4, you're going to learn those specific pronouns, like what they are. So for now, you just need to know first person singular, second person singular, third person singular, first person plural, second person plural, third person plural. And then we'll fill in what those pronouns are next week. So let's sing our song together.
Pronoun order,
Everybody say it now. First person singular, second person singular, third person singular. Pronoun order. First person plural, second person plural, third person plural. Pronoun order. First person singular, second person singular, third person singular. Pronoun order. First person plural, second person plural, third person plural. Pronoun order, yeah.
This week we are skip counting the 5s and 6s, and we're going to start with our multiplication table for 5s. Now, I want you to notice a pattern in this multiplication table. So let's go through them and then see if you notice a pattern. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 11 is 55. 5 times 12 is 60. 5 times 13 is 65. And 5 times 14 is 70. And 5 times 15 is 75. My chart is a little messed up on those last two. Did anyone notice what the pattern is for what the answers are on our 5s chart? The endings, the numbers either end in 5 or 0. And that's our pattern for the 5s chart.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75.
For science this week, we are talking about 3 types of consumers. So we have herbivores, do a sign language H, carnivores, C, and omnivores, O. So herbivores are plant eaters, carnivores are meat eaters, and omnivores eat everything. So in our song, we're going to do these letters, and then we're going to act like we're eating a vegetable, like a carrot or a celery. And for carnivores, we're going to and act like we're meat eaters with big sharp teeth. And then omnivores, we're just going to eat everything. So let's play our song and do our motions together.
3 types of consumers.
3 types of consumers are herbivores, carnivores, omnivores.
Herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. Herbivores, vores, like to eat their veggies. Carnivores, vores, like to eat meat. Omnivores, vores, like to eat everything. These are three types of consumers.
For geography this week, we are covering Western European countries. So we have Ireland, England, France, Spain, and Portugal. Let's sing our countries together. Ireland, England, France, and Spain, Portugal, round again. Ireland, England, France, and Spain, Portugal. And if you have a little figurine or a little animal that you can move around your map, go get that, and we're going to have him travel around the Western European countries. Ireland, England, France, and Spain, Portugal, round again. Ireland, England, France, and Spain, Portugal. Okay, see if you can tell me which country touches the North Sea. We learned the North Sea last week. North Sea, North Sea, North Sea, below the giant key. Where was that? And what country touches the North Sea that we're learning about this week? North Sea is right here, below the giant key. So our country that touches the North Sea is England. All right, another body of water we learned last week was the English Channel. Where is the English Channel? We have to squeeze through the English Channel. Two countries that touch the English Channel are England and France, because the English Channel is right there. Okay, which country is the smallest island? We have two islands that we're learning this week. We have Ireland is an island and England is on an island. So which country is the smallest one? Ireland. Which one's our largest? England. Great job. Let's sing through our countries one more time. Use my stormtrooper. Ireland, England, France, and Spain, Portugal, around again. Ireland, England, France, and Spain, Portugal. Multiplication table for the sixes. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 11 is 66. 6 times 12 is 72. 6 times 13 is 78. 6 times 14 is 84. 6 times 15 is 90.
6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78, 84, 90. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78, 84, 90.
For timeline this week, we're going to start with Hinduism in India. So Hinduism teaches that Raman is the one great spirit. So we're going to assign spirit. So you're going to take your middle finger and your thumb and put them together, and then just let your top hand float up for spirit. So Hinduism in India. And then we have Phoenicians in the alphabet. So on the front of your timeline card, you have a boat. So we're going to make a boat. So we're going to have our hand, and then we're going to do like our 3 fingers like this and have our boat. Phoenicians in the alphabet. So we're just going to do an A and a B. And then we have Olmecs of Mesoamerica. So make 2 O's. We're going to trace our heads like the big stone heads on the front of that timeline card. And then Israelite Exodus and Desert Wandering. So put your hands together. Israelite Exodus and Desert Wanderings have one finger up, and it's just wandering around. Israelite Conquest and Judges. So we're going to conquer. So when someone is conquered, they're put into submission. So Israelite Conquest, and then for Judges, we have the Scales of Truth. And then Greek Dark Ages, and the last one is Israel's United Kingdom. So Hinduism in India, Phoenicians and the alphabet, Olmecs of Mesoamerica, Israelite Exodus and Desert Wandering, Israelite Conquest and Judges, Greek Dark Ages, Israel's United Kingdom. They're linked together to show they're united.
Hinduism in India, Phoenicians and the alphabet, Olmecs of Mesoamerica, Israelite exodus and desert wandering, Israelite conquest and judges, Greek Dark Ages, Israel's United